As long as you think you're on the ground, that's what you are. All right. There we are. Zulma Gonzalez, this mic is all yours.
I like that, the battleground. As long as I think I'm on the ground, there we go. Hey, a thankful Thursday, family. I was sitting here listening, and like I can't wait to go back and hear this from the beginning, the last hour, um, and the synchronicity of it. And yes, what Lori said that it, our, this family is family, and when I feel, I'm remembering when I didn't have anyone. I didn't know that there was anyone out here who was studying the course, and it was just me. And when I found Gather, mm, I know it says seek not outside yourself. I know the course says seek not outside yourself, but I have to admit, I'll go listen to somebody's audio. I'll go listen to Karen, of course. I'll go listen to Karen, or I'll go listen to what's happening on Fridays with Joel Goldsmith, two of my favorite things to listen to. And I know it says seek not outside. Just I hear that. But what Lori also said is that we need each other. We are each other, and we need each other. And it's good to know that um sometimes that somebody's going through the same thing I am, or better for me is when they're not going through what I am, so that when I call them, that they're not in the same place that I am, grateful, grateful, grateful family. I love you. Just had to throw that out there. Just had to throw that out there. Thank you so much. Um, so all right, we are talking about A Course in Miracles meets Science of Mind and physical teachings. It just so happens that's my slides are doing the same thing, but I'm not gonna put that slide back up again. Let's see. Slideshow from current slide. Not that slide. That's not right. Um I've been gone for a couple of weeks. I'm still finding myself. I'm still seeking myself. I'm still trying to find me. Where the heck am I? Where the heck am I? Um, it's been an interesting couple of weeks without any details. Um, um, I got a ticket for the car, got a ticket from the car accident. Because those of you know, I I totaled Sapphire, and now I own Scarlet. Um, I got a ticket for that, and I didn't see the first notice because me and the mail, or maybe you don't know, me and the mail, we have a thing. We don't have a thing. I pick the mail up. I physically pick it up once a week, and I look through some of it, put the rest down. I'm working on that. I am working on, I'm really, really working on that because between the first notice and the second notice, the amount that I was to pay went up 20, 30, 20, $25. Um, but I paid that like very last minute. Otherwise, I would be getting ready to go to court later in the week, and I definitely didn't want to do that. Didn't want to do that. So that's the only thing I can think of to talk about. If something else comes to me, I'll let you know. But that's all for now. I am going to share my screen and show you about what synchronicity really is, but not quite yet. This was sent to me this morning. Happy Thursday. Let today be a testament to your strength, a celebration of your resilience, and a reminder that you have the power to overcome any challenge. That was sent to me this morning, and it gave me reason to smile. I said, oh, I needed that today. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Oh, wow. Next slide. Why am I not remember? Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Quickly, quickly, mind your mind, because I have more to do today. We should daily train our thought to recognize the spirit in everything we do, say, or think. We have to remember to do that. Therefore, there's no other way. To try any other way would be to be a complete failure, because that's to suggest that it's God and we know there's no God and. There is no God, and there's nothing other than God. A reminder that this is a course in mind training, that all learning involves attention and study at some level, and because an untrained mind can accomplish nothing. That's from the course. Dr. Ernest also says that to learn how to think is to learn how to live. Christian Larson teaches that we naturally become master over all life when we can understand and master the process of thinking. It's all about our thoughts. It's all about this course in mind training. It's all about, and the goal of the course is to know ourselves. So, and what we do comes from what we feel, and what we feel comes from what we think. And So question nothing you do. Question nothing that you do. Question always what you think. Because every response you make, the course reminds us, is determined by what you think you are, and what you want to be is what you think you are. So, see, so we talk about the future, what we want to be, but the fact that we're thinking it now, and only now is now, and I'll bring that up a little bit later. Um, what you want to be is what you think you are. Because if I think, whatever that is, I think I want to be organized. Well, the thought is there, the organization is there. It's just a matter of figuring out how to put it in practice, how to do what I'm thinking. So, what you want to be then must determine every response you make. And that's what the course is. What I just said is what the course taught me. What I want to be must determine every response I make. So it's not about what I do. In the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, he talks about you don't start from what you want to do and then be that. No, you start from what you recognize what you are and then be that. And from there is where you go into what is it you want to do. If I'm recognizing that I am spirit, if I'm recognizing that I am spirit, then everything I do is based on that spiritual life, that spiritual belief, that spiritual recognition, that spiritual truth. And likewise, if I'm perceiving myself and everything else as what I see, hear, smell, taste, and touch as real, it's not. And therefore, everything I do, as the course says, I will know not what I do, because I'll be doing it based on something that's temporary, trying to make permanent decisions on temporary stuff. No good, no good, no way to live. All right. Um, so I was finding I had these quotes coming up, and I said I need to share them. These different quotes throughout the week. They are not necessarily related, but I'm allowing my accepting divine healing daily mind. That's ADHD. I'm accepting the ADHD mind to do what it wants to do, and you have to do it with me. You don't have to. You don't. No, you don't have to. But if you want to be here, then with me, then here you go. Um, Sonia Sonia Pemberton wrote, "Do not be defined by other people. You are not who they say you are. You are what you think." Oh my God. Not what you think you are. Now, when in this particular quote, in relation to the course, it's based on our real thoughts. I am what I think based on my real thoughts. In my real thoughts, I recognize that what I am is what God is. I am the I am, and that's that. I am my own understanding of God. That's that. What I'm thinking with my real thoughts. And what I think I am is a body. And I'm not my body. I am free because I'm still as God created me. I am not my body. So that's how I saw that quote. Meister Eckhart wrote, "The eyes with which I see God are the eyes through which God sees me." Well, Dr. Ernest Holmes wrote that what I'm looking for is what I'm looking with, which goes back to seek that outside yourself. I'm going to come back to that. Um, the eyes with which I see God. Again, Ruth L. Miller in "I Am My Own Understanding of God." The eyes through which I see God are the eyes through which God sees me, because the Father and I are one. And in that oneness, the way I'm seeing things, what's the expression? You don't see life as it is, you see life as you are. The eyes with which I see God. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. The eyes with which I see God are the eyes through which God sees me. So my worth, and then this is it's I'm sitting here and I'm loving this moment. I love it when I read something and then all of a sudden spirit says, "All right, stop reading, take over." My worth is not established by what any of you wonderful people, and don't take the fact that I've called you wonderful personally, but my worth is not established by any of you. My worth is not established by what you say to me, what you say about me. My worth is not established by what you think. My worth isn't even established by what I think in this tangible form. My worth is not established by what I do. My worth is not established by anything out here, quote, quote, out here, because the eyes through which God sees me are the eyes that know that my worth, that's my worth. My worth is my God. My God is my worth. Um, Emma Curtis Hopkins wrote, "My good is my God. My God is my good." The eyes with which I see God, and where I'm talking about the vision eyes, not these physical things, the vision eyes, the eyes with which I see God are the eyes through which God sees me. I am that. Okay. The goal of life is God, Howard Thurman writes. The source of life is God. God is the goal of man's life, the end of all his seeking, the meaning of all his striving. It, it's all God. How did the song that I changed the song by Bruno Mars. It's all God. The I am, one power, one presence. It's all God. The I am, one mind, divine intelligence. It's all God. The I am. What spirit says, what spirit is everything I am. It's all God. The I am. And I know this is truth. I'll break it down. Spirit is moving through you. Spirit is moving through you. Spirit is moving through you. What you want, God's going to give it to you. What you want, God's going to give it to you. What you want, God's already given to you. Live from the top, give it all you got. Just believe it and watch. Hey, that just came to me. You know, it's funny. I don't remember the actual title of that song. I mean, you might because you can hear the music of it. I can't remember the actual title. I do know it's Bruno Mars. Got to give brother his credit. Um, uh, and and the only words, the only lyrics I remember are my own, and not all of them. But anyway, it's all God. It's all God. It is all God. There is no and. Joe Goldsmith wrote he wrote a chapter titled "No and." It's not, there is no end. The life of the goal of life is God. The source of life is God. The source. That's there. Howard Thurman, when he wrote that, he didn't think to put a capital S in there. So I had to put it just like he wrote it. But it's all God. My source is my worth. My source is my life. My source is my creator. My source. You are the life of God fulfilling itself, is how Michael Bernard Beckwith wrote it. You, me, we are the life of God fulfilling itself. It's written that we are the hands and the feet of God. We are the body, quote, quote, body. We are the body of God. We are what God is. Oh my goodness. That fills me. That fills me. That fills me. That fills me. I have these moments throughout the day when I'm saying that, reminding myself when I'm feeling like, oh, you can't. How come you can't? Yeah. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I am what God is. God is what I am. I am that. And all my power lies in that. We have been given the power. We are the power. I'm gonna flip this slide because I won't stop. This slide should have been before this one. Anyway, we're reminded, the course reminds us to begin each day with time devoted to the preparation of your mind, to learn what each idea you will review that day can offer you in freedom and in peace. At the I have an in-person study group on Mondays. Um, I participate in something like one, two, three, At least four, at least three study groups, at least three A Course in Miracles study groups, at least three. And if I come here on Saturdays, then that would be four, and including Fridays, which brings the course in with Gloria and Lynn, with Joel Goldsmith, six at least. So not and not just the course, not just the course, because remember, forget this book. Forget this book. See, not it's not about the book. It's not about the book, but it's about the teaching. And my day starts that way. Well, actually, my day starts with the Karen Drucker song. My alarm goes off to um, the song whose that lyrics go, I promise in this moment to keep my heart wide open. With every breath I take, I'm grateful. And the opening words to the first words of that song are thank you. So that's how I start my day. I start my day in gratitude. I started in gratitude. And sometimes I just like scream when the phone is too close to my ear and it goes off. Thank you. And I was like, oh my God, wait. But in gratitude, begin each day. And it calls on how the rest of the day is going to be. In all things, it's written, give thanks. In all things, not for all things, but in all things, give thanks. Oh, Gloria, I see your hand. Go right ahead, please.
Good morning, Zulma. I love
Morning,
what you
love.
shared there about, it's not whether it's this or that. All of it contains the truth beyond it. So the idea is that we read, study, meditate, and of course, the main thing is getting in touch with that still small voice and allowing that to direct and guide, like you mentioned earlier. And that really is the key because that's how we get to the inner peace that the Course describes, or whatever discipline or study. Beyond that, that's the goal. I and the Father are one. And we're only going to establish that connection through listening to that still small voice. And I'll just mention second and fourth Tuesdays doing the Thunder of Silence, which at the back of it is the Sermon on the Mount. And we are going to, one of these weeks, reach that section where he does talk about this still small voice and establishing that connection. So I just thought I'd mention that. Thanks.
Thank you. Thunder of Silence. Okay. I have that book. I do. I have it. Um, I have been collecting. I talk about Jogo. It's interesting. Uptown Funk. Thank you, Lynn. I talk about I like It's All God. Uptown Funk is all God too. um, I interestingly enough, after Ernest Holmes, when I talk about the other metaphysicians, it's Joel Goldsmith that I mentioned. But people are hearing me say, "Oh, I love Joe Goldsmith. Oh, I love Joe Goldsmith." So the consistency, because you find that each of these wonderful metaphysicians um, seem to have um, a path. Okay. Like for me, I see your hand, Glory. Wait a minute. For me, the course was to help me see me, and the course does say the goal is to know myself, to see me and recognize my oneness with my brother, my sister, to recognize my oneness with that part of creation. And then what the science of mind, what Ernest Holmes is teaching, and also Christian Larson, because that's where he got his change. He switched his uh, it switched some. I can't go into details on that, but was to recognize my oneness with everything, with all of it, that it's all the same thing. And then here comes Joe Goldsmith to say the same thing, all of it, to try to exclude something from being God, and I don't care what you pick. I don't care what situation in your life you pick, but those things are not God. No, no, no. Situations come and go. Situations come and go. And what's temporary God is eternal. God is permanent. God always is. So those situations, it's not the situations, but what we took from it, the thoughts that we took from it, the, what do we let, where we let our mind go as a result. It's all God. And to try to exclude any part of it is to make ourselves miserable, because then we're going into wish world, into those fantasy places, into those illusions. We're trying to make something out of nothing. Go ahead, Gloria.
That was so beautiful. And yeah, just what I was going to say goes right along with that. The whole idea there's the one Christ mind. And we establish that connection with that one Christ mind by listening to that still small voice. And whether it's Joel or whoever it is, God is expressing as every channel, every instrument is the expression of God. And that's what Jesus tells us in the Course, that, those who meet are supposed to meet for the perfect teaching, learning situation. But ultimately, it's all God. Thank you.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. And if ye know these things, as written in the Bible, in John chapter 13, verse 17, if ye know these things, happy are ye if ye do them. We can read, and this is the reason I brought up the in-person study group. I was actually heading somewhere, but the brain went somewhere else. One of the people from the in-person study group yesterday, her name is Janet. She called me yesterday and she says, I got it. Hi, Janet. What'd you get? She says, it's me. I got it. And she goes on to explain and you all know what I'm talking about. But she went on to explain that everything that's ever, all the situations that I've had, and then she mentioned some of the specifics that I'm already aware of. And she says, it's me. It was always me. I got it. I got it. And I start laughing. I says, yeah, we all have it. And then the moment comes when something jumps in and we decide to judge by appearances and we let it go. And then we get it again. And we let it go. And the more we practice getting it and getting it and getting it, the easier it becomes to let it go less and less and less. And no, and informed, there's no way we can call ourselves perfect, not informed. No way. Because stuff is going to happen. We forget when a physical part hurts, or when something outside of us, and that, or somebody, tells you this or takes that from you. And we have those moments where we perceive ourselves as victim, but we can always go back. We can always devote preparation of our mind, devote time to the preparation of our mind to do these things and find our happy again, to be in joy, to be in peace, to be in love, to recognize that my God is all there is, that God is all there is. My God is your God. It's one God. It's one life. There's only one life. Ernest Holmes right. There is only one life, and that life is God's life. And that life is perfect. Perfect meaning complete. It is whole. And that life is my life now. Only one life. Only one, 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 one. And that word one is the word, the word that keeps reminding me, oh, Zulma, there you go again. There you go again. You're othering. You're thinking about that person who said this but didn't mean it, who did this but didn't mean it, did this but really meant that. You're thinking about that. You're causing yourself pain. Oh, back to the oneness. Back to the oneness. In chapter 9, section 3, the correction of error reminds us that just because a brother or sister is talking insanely, because that's coming from ego, doesn't make them wrong. They're still spirit. They're still me. The same God that establishes my worth is the same God that establishes theirs. And that's for me to remember. To remember, because the sleep of forgetfulness, the Course teaches, is the unwillingness to remember. The habit of engaging with God. That's the practice. That's the practice, to engage. Well, when you get engaged, if in a relationship, you have that engagement, you always want to be around each other. You always want to be around that person. Well, that's what we're talking about, engaging with God, remembering that you're always right there, no matter what, no matter what. All right, let's see what I have. Well, let's see what other slides I have. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, wait. No, 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 didn't want to do that. I just did that. Okay. This morning, well, okay, for the last 32 days, there's a group of us who have been studying, practicing, reading Michael Bernard Beckwith's 40-day Mind Fast Soul Feast. That's the title of the book. It's a small book. And today, one of the things he wrote in today's reading was stop living your life on the layaway plan. It grabbed me, so I had to use it. Stop living your life on the layaway plan, reserving some of life today to live for tomorrow. Use the spiritual coin of surrender and take your life off the layaway plan. And when I read that, my thought, what came to me was from the Course. Be not content with future happiness. We think that, okay, for you have cause for freedom now. I'm talking for Zulma now, that procrastinating, I think that that's a thing. I think that procrastination is a thing. And the Course reminds me that delay is tragic. That's a heck of a word. Tragic in time. Tragic. I can attempt to put it off and put it off and put it off, but it keeps coming back to bite me. Oh, it keeps coming back to bite. Like I said with that ticket, I almost ended up in court. That would have been on the 7th. I almost would have had to take, time off, go to court, probably pay more money. I don't know. But the fact that I didn't pick up that first piece of mail and read it when I got it cost me more money. 25 extra dollars. Delay is tragic in time. I keep thinking for the future, in the future, later. Later. I can do it later. I've got time. Well, time is outside of me. It's not real either. Nothing outside of me is real. I had to laugh when I was listening to Dove talking about what that Karen had been teaching from chapter 29, section 7, one of my favorite sections, seek not outside yourself, and the next section, the Antichrist. And there is no Antichrist, by the way. There's no such thing, because the Antichrist is nothing. Okay, I forgot that's a throw-in. But in the Course, it teaches seek not outside yourself. And anything, time is outside of me. Which means it's not real, because if it's outside of me, that means it's outside of God. It's not real. It's that made-up concept. Seek not outside yourself, for all your pain comes simply from a futile search for what you want, insisting where it must be found. And for some reason, I keep thinking that tomorrow I'm going to find it. Tomorrow, I'm going to take care of it. Tomorrow, I'm going to handle it. Tomorrow, I'm going to organize such and such an area, such and such a this, or such and such a that. Tomorrow, be not content with future happiness, for you have cause for freedom now. And the verse in between that says something about, or the verse after that, about being in prison's form, walking around in prison's clothing, walking around in chains, basically. Walking around in chains when the chains are not even linked, they're not hooked, they're not locked. They're just there. I can walk away, step out anytime I want, because I am that source. I am the reason. I am the cause of what goes on in my life. That's what Janet meant when she says, I got it. It's me. Cheryl Valentine One of our beloveds that used to come here, she who's made her since made her transition, wrote a book by that title. Oh my God, it's me. It's me. It's always and only me. It's nothing out there. I can't blame. I don't know. I have to look at back to that initial passage that every response I make is determined by what I think I am. And if I think that I am a procrastinator, if I think, I just really heard what I said. I just really heard what I said. Because what do procrastinators do? They procrastinate. But what is procrastination but the belief that time is real and that there will be more time later? But when is later? There is no later. So this was my reflection. This was my reflection based on the reading this morning from Michael Bernard Beckwith's book. Today is the only now there is. In truth, I can't wait for what's already mine. Everything I need, I already have. The Lord of my life is what I am. And I put Lord in a capital L because I'm coming from that passage, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Therefore, if the Lord is my shepherd, and I recognize her now, I shall not want because I cannot want. The Course teaches that we are everything and we have everything. Let me personalize that. The Course teaches that I have everything because I am everything. And time isn't part of it. I simply am. I am, have always been, always will be. Call it energy. That's how Einstein says it. Always. Now, always has no direction, the Course teaches. So you can't procrastinate in the past. I can't procrastinate in the past. So I really can't procrastinate in the future because there is no past and there is no future. And my belief that procrastination serves me is actually hurting me. I didn't know, I didn't plan on saying everything I'm saying. Oh my, well, maybe I was. I didn't know that this was a plan, and it's coming out the way it needs to come out. Because this one's for me. This one is for me. I am everything. I have everything, and I need not wait, and I need not hold on and hold on and hold on to stuff that's won't be here. It's going to go in somebody's somewhere after I leave, after I depart this physical life. It's meaningless. Giving value to the valueless. Procrastination. I'm giving value to it. I'm giving value to later. There is no later. In chapter 13, I don't have the book in front of me right now. Maybe I can pull it up. But in chapter 13, section 4, the section called the function of time, a chapter called the guiltless world. In the function of time, it reads, I got it. The ego, section 4. In paragraph 4, this was where my awakening, the beginning of my awakening came with the Course, my first revelation. The ego has a strange notion of time. That's the first sentence of paragraph 4, chapter 13, section 4. The ego has a strange notion of time. Now, in here, it says the ego invests heavily in the past. Now, I'm using this regarding material possessions. This is where I'm going with this. The ego invests heavily in the past, and in the end believes that the past is the only aspect of time that is meaningful, which basically means that I'm thinking that everything that I have is what's meaningful, which means that I think that everything that I have, which is tangible, it's just not permanent, which is destructible, I'm thinking that it is meaningful. I'm giving meaning to the meaningless. I'm going down to verse 4. It says, by the notion of paying for the past in the future, which means I'm perceiving myself as somebody that has to have this stuff and have to take it with me. The past becomes the determiner of the future, making them continuous without an intervening present. This was not my plan. I had other stuff I wanted to talk about today. So I'm going to pause, right? I'm going to pause that right there. I'm going to stop reading from the course right there. Go back to my slides because I was just given another revelation. I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, I don't need anything. I have everything. And I forget. This is where my sleep of forgetfulness comes in. That's not a thing for me when it comes to people. It's so much. Um, when it comes to people, because my mother served as the model person, if you will, um, when it comes to people, it's easy for me to let go and let go for the most part, to let go and let go. There's just one, I have that one. But I was talking to myself in deep thought, letting spirit talk to me last night because I was having thoughts. I had to pull the car over because you know what I said, when I get angry, things happen. So I pulled the car over. I started having angry thoughts. I was feeling it, I was hurting, and I literally pulled the car over. Anyway, um, I don't need it. I have everything. I have everything. What could I have everything. So this these passages from the course that are on the screen now that I'm about to play with. Oh, Karen, go ahead.
Hello, my darling Zulma.
Hi, my love.
Um, I just want to say that I love what you're sharing right now. And I can relate to when you were talking about, something that you should be doing. Like, I know that you talk about your ADHD, and I swear I think I have ADHD now. The older I'm getting, I have ADHD. I'm putting things off and putting things off and putting things off. But what I like to remember what it says in the course is in chapter 14, section 4, paragraph 3. Remember that you are deprived of nothing except by your own decisions and then decide otherwise. So really that helps me a lot because it helps me not to feel guilty about not doing these certain things that pile up on the desk that need to be done, like the stuff that you were talking about, because it's going to get done when it gets done. And it's not that big of a deal, and not feeling guilty is important for me, to feel that I'm okay with it, that I can be at peace with it, and I'll get to it when I get to it. So you just reminded me that we're deprived of nothing because having and being are the same. And it's always a decision, and I can always choose for the Holy Spirit to see it differently. So really, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't do the guilt as much before I learned for sure that before this diagnosis, before my mind was diagnosed with having ADHD, I had more guilt feelings then. Procrastination is not no. Because one procrastinates doesn't mean that they have ADHD, but procrastination is one for some of us, one of the um, symptoms of ADHD. And it's a strange kind of procrastination because it could be, I'm sitting here and I mean, it's a paralysis of sorts, literally a paralysis. Not only am I not doing it, but I'm sitting here and paralyzed and feel like I can't do it. That's the ADHD part of it. But I understand that now. So no, I don't have the guilt. I put it on the list. I have a list. I have a list this long, which is slowly but slowly, things are coming off the list. but I understand that now. But see, this is the reason why I say we need each other, because whoever wrote the book, on the TikToks, the YouTubes where they talk about some of the characteristics, some of the symptoms of ADHD, I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that. Um, and because I've heard it, now I am slowly, and I even have a behavioral therapist now, slowly handling things, and I'm not taking myself down that hole. But I have to, but because I have this diagnosis, I cannot and will not use it as an excuse to not get things done. I just realize that it may take me a little longer, even, I realize that now. So no, the guilt and shame that went with it is gone. I'm still not inviting anybody over, except my friends Barbara and my baby girl Chardonnay. Um, but I get it. The yeah, Karen, you're doing right, and I laugh about it too. I do, because well, I'll talk to you offline. Uh, hey, my brother, Regis. Um, I'm glad you came in here, because Regis, when I first started talking about this, Regis was here, and before the diagnosis. I'm keep putting that in quotation marks, because it's not me. Zulma, the indestructible, doesn't have anything. What I have is eternity. What I have is life. What I have is indestructible. What I have can't be threatened. It can't be threatened. But in this form, I decided to take on these characteristics, which I call accepting divine healing daily. That's what ADHD stands for, accepting divine healing daily. I decided to take this on, and and now, as I read a lot of the things from the book that I've yet to put, that I've been talking about for years, and I'm constantly putting together, um, some of the passages that I had picked, that I had, they have to go now, because I've managed to gratefully overcome some of those same things. But I'm gonna show you some of the passages that I still do have. Um, and I'm going back to the share mode, and these are all from the course. Oh, and I want to do a shout out to my sister, my practitioner sister, Katia Thompson. Katia, if you're listening, hi. Um, she, Katia is the one person, um, from when I first mentioned that I was doing these live presentations. I'm talking about when I first started doing these presentations, who has come, and she's here, as far as I know, just about every week, if not every. She says she's here. She says she listens in. So if you're listening, Katia, call me or text me and let me know. And if you don't, then I'm gonna question whether or not it's true. Anyway, anyway, these are all from the course, um, and some of my favorite. I put them together to make them my own. Starting with, by releasing your mind from the imprisonment of your illusions, they restore your sanity. And procrastination, for example, is an illusion. The belief in time is an illusion. The belief that later, later is an illusion. The belief that I need every tangible thing I own is an illusion. By releasing my mind from the imprisonment of my illusions, they restore my sanity. And so the course says to me, resign now as your own teacher. That's in chapter 12. You have taught yourself that imprisonment is freedom. And that's in chapter 8. And the reason why I had pulled that particular passage way back when, and I've had that sitting in my quote, my book for years now, is because I used to think that by building things up around myself. And no, I don't have mounds of stuff. I'm making it, it's not like that. But by surrounding myself with these things that I could keep the bad guy out. Because I used to think that the reason why I do this or did this was based on having opened the door when I was 11 to the man who decided to do what he did to my body. I used to think that. And then 2 years ago, just 2 or 3 years ago, my house got robbed. Remember that? Got robbed 2 weeks in a row. And I discovered, and it was the gift. It was a gift that they did that, because with it came the discovery that I can't keep the bad guys out. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. I can't keep the bad guys out. There are no bad guys. I am not a victim of the world I see. I invented the world I see. And the only thing I can do is begin to look and see the peace. There's the other way, to let go of that ego thought system. Oh, what he did to me. Oh, I have to keep people out. Oh, and it started building this, and I mean, and we start believing our own story. My own story. You should see me now walking around with a small bag, and okay, don't need this, don't want that, don't need this. Okay, this has to go in the other bag. The behavioral therapist told me to do something that I absolutely cannot do. She suggested that I clear out everything from one room and put it in another room. And I hear her. She says, "You want to see?" Because if I put it in another room, that's where that's going to be. And then I'll start putting stuff in the rooms that I've cleared out. So no, I can't. I have to do it in segments. That's just me. That's just how I have to do it. Some people can. I'm not that girl. I am not that girl. Um, yes, the bad guys are the ego thoughts we believe are real. Yes, exactly. There are no bad guys. What bad guys? If they're the bad guys, then I'm the bad guy, because I'm the one having the bad guy thoughts in the first place. So when they came in my house and took what they wanted, and I realized, wait a minute, there's no way to keep them. There's no way to keep people out if they want to get in. I mean, the whole thought process about bad guys and good guys, bad guys and keeping people out and all that, that whole thought system, it changed. It changed. So I had to, that means I had to come up with another excuse for why I was doing this. And this was all pre diagnosis, but I had to come up with another excuse. Now, I will not make ADHD an excuse. But as I was saying, as I just said, Karen, there's a reason why I don't have to feel the shame that I used to feel. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to talk about it. Here, I know that people are listening. All right, I'm going back to this. I'm going back to the screen. So you have taught yourself that imprisonment is freedom. I taught myself that keeping myself in would keep others out, and that's not true. Let go all your past learning. Let it all go. Let it all go. Our closing song on Sundays. Okay, I can't think of it now. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. Now I can say, if you're discouraged, trying just to make it through another day, you have got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. And this was originally by Ricky Byers Beckwith. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my arms are open wide. I am only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, and I'm only here for God. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Let go all your past learning. Let it go. Of course, that's from chapter 15. For those who are not looking at the screen, that's from chapter 15. And then from chapter 8, your past learning must have taught you the wrong things simply because it has not made you happy. I share that with people, anybody. They don't have to, whether they're quote quote whether they're practicing their spiritual life or whether they're not, or whether they're atheist. You must have whatever your past learning must have taught you the wrong things simply because it's not made you happy. And everybody goes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. We think for some reason that because, well, that's the way my mother taught me. Well, that's the way my father taught me. Well, that's what my teachers said. Well, my big brother, my big sister, the pastor, they what they said must be it. I I remember when I was reading now mind you, I have a certification as a biblical counselor. I was certified as a biblical counselor in 1996. But when I was reading the Bible and I got to there were different things. But when I got to the Cain story, this is after um he took his brother's physical life, and God says to him, this is the way he reads in the Bible, something to the effect that you got to go. Boy, what you did, I know what you did. Your brother's blood is crying to me. You got to go. And see, that was actually Cain's guilt talking. Anyway, it's written that Cain said, "No, because wherever I go, the people are going to kill me." And I thought, what people? Which I expected to be the next sentence, but it wasn't. Let go all your past learning, because your past learning must have taught you the wrong things simply because it's not made you happy. And I have a client, by the way. I have a client who is a fundamental, she's a fundamentalist, and she said something to me about Adam and Eve, and I said the words flew out of my mouth before I, was listening to myself. I said, "Oh, that's a good story, but I don't believe it." And she took time to listen to me after we finished the session, um, as to why. And I just went. I mean, I went from all the way from Adam and Eve to John and the Revelation that it was, that it was an old man on an island by himself. Where do you get pencil and paper from? All that. Uh, from Genesis to Revelation, I start talking about why about things that no longer serve me. They no longer serve me. And I'm not saying that it's not serving, it's serving others, it's serving others quite wonderfully. I have people in my life who I treasure dearly, and we talk and we say the same things, but we say them differently. But my fundamental friends aren't judgy. They aren't judgy. They're not judging me because of this, and I'm not judging them because of that, and they're not judging anybody else. I see their life. They are practicing their spiritual life. They are practicing, and that means something to me. Okay, remember nothing that you taught yourself, for you were badly taught. And who would keep a senseless lesson in his mind when he can learn and preserve a better one? That's the miracle. To be able to change my mind, to let go of what's already gone and take on that which does make me happy. And it doesn't involve hurting anybody, stepping on anybody's toes. It involves none of that. It involves embracing. It involves engaging. It involves extending. It involves bringing them to me, into my life, as part of my, recognizing that they are my life. I was going to say part. No parts. No parts. It's one continuous something. When the wind blows, you feel it and I feel it at the same time. It's not It's not separating. The wind doesn't separate itself from me and you. The wind just blows right on through, and we both feel it. Nothing. Remember nothing you have taught yourself. Let this go. Hold on to nothing, the Course teaches. Hold on to nothing. Huh. Dr. Ernest says, look away from the condition. You taught yourself wrongly, having believed what was not true. And here it is, the nutshell. You did not believe in your own perfection. Now, these passages are in my book. They've been there for long years. I rearranged the order of them to make it say what I need to say. But I'm talking to me the whole time. I'm not out here trying to change anybody else's mind. Although I'll say that if I ever actually publish this book, but now I'm using quote passages from other people, and I'm gonna probably need permission from the publishers to do that because of copyright infringement. I'm trusting that someone else who believes that their worth is established by something other than God will be willing to look at it, consider it, to resign as their own teacher, to seek the peace that's always been there, to seek what's already there. What we're looking for is what we're looking with. What I've been looking for, I've been looking with. Nothing. There's nothing that I have, nothing that I have acquired, that's real. I already am real. I'm the truth. I'm the way. I'm the life. And so are you. Family, I love you. And Lynn, here's the mic.
Amen. Thanks, Zulma.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zulma Gonzalez. What a great sharing. And I'm just so grateful that you're back. And this life is crazy.